Hey everybody, welcome back to the city of Fremont. I decided to take a little bit of a break from this series. Went and tried out some new games that I got on Steam over the summer that I never really got to play, but I'm done with that break now, and I am back into a somewhat of a schedule playing this game, but hopefully I'll be able to upload more videos instead of, just disappearing for 3 weeks or so. But I was actually supposed to upload this video like, I don't know, Friday or so, but then something happened and I wasn't able to even get to my computer. And then on Saturday I noticed that some footage was messed up while editing. So then I had to go back into the game and re-record it and then re-edit some stuff, and then that took like an entire day to do, and now we're here. But it's okay, I got it all sorted out now, and I should be able to upload more videos, hopefully within like another week or so will be the next one. But with that out of the way, let's jump right into what's happening on screen. So the first thing that is probably going to be noticed about all of this is that we are not near the city at all, at least in the downtown area. That's number one. And number two is the fact that we're not really maintaining a grid at this point, and it kind of just is all curvy and twisty and not, well, gridded. As I had previously said, like when this series first started, I believe, I said that I was going to keep the city at like a grid, so that way the concrete tiles would line up and not have like weird diagonal lines that didn't really make any sense. But I seem to just be going against my word on that, but I don't really mind. It looks more natural, and of course this city is, it's not a replica of the city of Greensboro. I'm just gonna put that out there. Greensboro, North Carolina. It's not a replica, but it is inspired by it. I'd say the train station is probably like really inspired by it, like a lot. But that out of the way. Also, this section right here is actually highly inspired by an actual part of the city. So yeah. Let's see. Well, first of all, I went and decided to use a bunch of decals. Like, I haven't really been using decals, at least road decals, a lot. But moving on from now, I'm going to try and put more road decals in because they just make the scene look so much better. I mean, if there weren't any road decals here, the road just suddenly like expands, and there's those zebra crossings everywhere, which I'm not really a big fan of. If there's a way to get rid of the zebra crossings, I will look into that, because after all, this is supposed to be a North American city, based in the United States, and there's not really zebra crossings for crosswalks. I mean, I'm sure there are, but in Greensboro, which is, the city this is based off of, or inspired by, I should say, yeah, we don't really have zebra crossings here. If anything, we have brick crossings. And even then, it's not brick, it's just stamped asphalt. But, I mean, it's not a zebra crossing. It's basically what I'm trying to say. So, you'll see me cover it up with the ploppable asphalt. But, yeah, that's that. So, this road right over here, I'm just going to extend it off onto this, not an island, but this just little section of land that is surrounded by the reservoir lake. I'll develop there eventually. I'll probably put the same fancy sort of houses that I'm going to be putting in right over here, and we're about to jump into that right now. I think I put in these concrete retaining walls, which really make it look a lot better than just being the dirt, and I was able to sink them down into the ground underneath the water, and that just looks really fantastic. So I'm pleased with the way that came out. But I think right after I do this terrain editing right here, and then I try to use movement on one of the road nodes, then we'll start jumping into the neighborhood creation, where I put in some sort of fancy lake houses and whatnot. And again, like I said just not too long ago, this is actually like based on a section of Greensboro along a reservoir lake that has some really nice houses. I mean, these houses are really fancy. And one thing that I'm going to say right now, some people might be upset or something that I'm not really putting details on these houses. These houses specifically. Like maybe fencing or putting in props and whatnot. I kind of just put in trees around the houses and that's it. And the reason for that is because that's how it really is in real life. These houses, these rich houses, they don't have fencing. They just have lots of trees surrounding them. I could probably go heavier on the trees, but I don't know. But yeah, they have tons of trees, but no sort of like property line dividing. So I thought that was interesting, and I decided, I mean, like, why even bother putting fencing in if they don't have it in real life? So I mean, it saves work for me, so that's always nice. But anyway, jumping into the next section, you saw me put in the alleyway, like the road, the concrete alleyway, and now I'm putting in the ploppable asphalt and trying to get this curve just right so that way I can make a cul-de-sac. Now, previously I hadn't made cul-de-sacs. The road kind of just came to an abrupt end, and I'm gonna be redrawing all of the cul-de-sacs in the entire city. Basically, every single neighborhood in the city that I've built up until now is going to get a complete makeover, because I've been looking at them and I just realized they look ugly. There's no detail, they look really bland, there's tons of empty land. It just doesn't look right, especially the low income neighborhoods, like right outside the downtown area. Especially in the last episode, I kind of just filled in that area, didn't really spend a lot of time on it, not really a lot of effort. That's going to change. I'm not going to record that because it takes a long time to do. I'm not sure. Nah, I won't record it because it's really just me copy and pasting a city block and just like rotating it around and maybe switching it up every now and again. So not really interesting, but I'll show you the results of doing that copy and paste method that I learned from oh man, I forgot his name. He has a YouTube channel, some really nice videos. Jeez, I forgot what it was. Man, I feel so bad now. But I can't really, I want to like look it up and find out what the name is, but I'm really like tight on a schedule right now. I have to like leave for school right after I record this audio, so yeah, that's always great. But I'll put it in a comment or something. But yeah, so, and also these cul-de-sacs, I should say, I also learned how to make these from watching Tress in his City Skylines videos. I think it was from Falcon Falls, I think. Maybe it was his, no, I'm pretty sure it was Falcon Falls. So watching him do his cul-de-sacs is what inspired me to even change it up in the first place. But yeah, so like I said, these houses, they don't get any sort of fencing or whatnot. I kind of just plop them down, use the movement mod, and space them out properly. And this area right here is just, it's not sort of like property yard fence thing. It's just a neighborhood divider, because like I said, these houses are really, really fancy. So, you know, they get their own special privacy wall from the main road right there. And yeah, the main road, it goes from that little 4-lane road to having the center turn lane, just like it is in the real life. And that center turn lane doesn't really have any other decals that get put on it. I mean, because it's got its turn lane, and it might seem useless having the center turn lane for such a large area, despite not having any houses to turn onto, because after all, I am fencing off this area. So there's no houses that actually go along that main road, but I mean, that's how it is in real life, and I guess whoever made this road decided that it wasn't really, I guess, smart to just make the road expand out to have the turn lane and then shrink back down. So, I mean, it does its duty. But now, as I said before, just putting in tons of trees in between these houses. They don't really have lots of open yards, not really like a front lawn or back lawn as it is tradition with some larger American homes. But that's with these houses. These houses along the lake, they're, I guess, very nature oriented, and they value their privacy and whatnot. So having lots of trees in between the houses, behind the houses, surrounding the whole lake area, it really just maintains the natural beauty, I guess, of the terrain. And also it provides its own natural privacy barrier between the houses, so that's nice. But the further away from the city, or from the downtown area, I should say, that we go and we enter farmland and whatnot, which I'm not sure when we'll get to, but hopefully I'll be able to incorporate it into the city before the city gets like so large that it's unplayable. But once we go out into a more rural side of town where farmland is and whatnot, the trees in between all the houses is going to start to dwindle. There's going to be more like open property, larger sections of open land just for the lawn of the house. So I'm going to have just big barren land areas. It's probably going to look ugly, especially if you're probably European, having just like big sections of empty land. Because I've seen like European cities and whatnot. They fill everything in. Europeans, when it comes to building cities, they know how to do it. They put walkways in, they put trams in, they put greenways. In America, you fill that space up with a parking lot. Because what else would you do? Yeah, so that was the super, well, I guess super fancy neighborhood around the lake. This area is also, I guess, higher class housing, but it's not really it's not on par with the other houses that I had put down. These are just two-story houses, traditional, I guess, medium-sized American homes. They're not as large as the other ones that I had put down, so they, I guess they'd symbolize a class divide, even though it's kind of like right next to the other neighborhood. But I mean, they're still pretty fancy, still pretty nice compared to the other houses that are going to be put up soon that are right next to the actually, I don't have footage of me putting those houses down. I just remember that I put them down off camera because it was taking too long to do, I think. Trying to just figure out how to set up the neighborhood itself takes a while to do, but yeah, so just putting in some more trees and whatnot, lots of trees in this area, and now we're switching to another type of housing in this neighborhood. Now this section, the recording for this area is like really short, but basically these are the Americana homes. I forgot who made them on the Steam Workshop, and I apologize for not knowing this. I don't really do my proper research when trying to bring topics like this up, but these homes, they look fantastic. They're like old American style homes. They look really great. Some of them have a brick driveway, some of them don't even have driveways, but man, they just look really good. They're super detailed. The windows, the shutters, just the paneling on the side of the house looks fantastic. So yeah, like I said, that was a pretty short area, pretty short recording section, and now we're moving on to basically the remainder of this video, which is just me constructing this absolutely massive factory sort of deal. And again, this is kind of not really an exact replica, but it's just kind of inspired by a large mill. It was a textile mill in Greensboro, just to the north of the city, I believe. And it takes up a big section of land, and I had this big section of land that needed to be developed, and I didn't want to just make it tons of housing, especially since it was right across the road from a large industrial sector, as you can see off camera just barely. So I just thought that doesn't really make any sense, having housing, albeit low income housing, but still having just housing directly across the street from like such heavy industry like that didn't really make any sense, especially being next to such a major road. The 6-lane road, having houses right there didn't really make any sense. So that's why I went ahead and decided to fill in this area with this large factory, which, if I was playing the game based on the RCI, I mean, which I am, I am playing the game based on the RCI. I want to maintain a good RCI and make this city at least somewhat functional. But yeah, man, this factory is really not necessary, at least at the moment, because you can just look at the RCI meter and see that there is absolutely zero demand for industry and very low demand for commercial. You know, these people, the city wants more residents, so that's why I went and built that neighborhood in the first place. However, like, basically each one of these industrial buildings holds, I think, like 350 jobs, and that's each one, and there are like 10, so that's like 3,500 new jobs added to the city when the city didn't even want jobs in the first place. So yeah, that's gonna be an issue. If I were to take the cinematic camera off and unpause the simulation, I'm sure I'd be getting alerts everywhere saying, "Oh, we have not enough employment. What are you guys doing?" But yeah, I don't really care too much. I mean, like, I do care, but I mean, I'm trying to focus on expanding the city. I'm not gonna, like, I want to focus on what I want to build. You know, does that make any sense? I want to focus on what I want to build, not what the city wants me to build. So if I want to build a large factory to fill up this empty space of land, I'm going to do it because that's what I want to build. I don't want to make a giant neighborhood again. I already made one. So I guess that's just my mental thinking. But quick side note, this isn't related. Well, I guess it is related, but this, I don't know what it is, but when it comes to making parking lots in this game, as simple as it may seem, it seems so simple. But these things just take so much time. It's unbelievable how much time I spend making parking lots. It's just so tedious, constantly plopping down the parking space, and then putting down the asphalt, and then putting down the curbs to divide it. And then you gotta put the decals in so it doesn't look like it's freshly paved. Like, that takes so much time. The raw footage of this episode, not gonna lie, the raw footage of this episode came out to over 12 hours. That is disgustingly long. 12 hours of footage. You can see how much I cut out of it. This is only like a 25-minute video. So for 12 hours of footage to be cut out, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty sure like 5 hours of that footage was literally just me and the parking lot. That's just horrible. It's horrible. In fact, there was so much footage of me making parking lots that I didn't even include the footage of me making the second lot. So this is the main lot, and the most like twisty of the lots, very angled, and that's probably what made it take so much longer to make. But I have a second lot off to the side, which I don't think I show the construction of it, because I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's basically the exact same thing that I did in this lot. You know, put down the parking spaces, then separate them with the curbs, and then put in all these decals to make it look better. And that's just, it's so much time. It takes so much time. It's disgusting. But I guess it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. And also, it takes up a lot of space. So, I mean, it's like a win-win. It's a win-win, lose-lose. I can't really explain it. It's a win-win because it represents an American city. You know, big old parking lots. And it's fairly detailed, so it looks fairly good. So that's the win-win. And it's a lose-lose because it takes so much time, and it's a parking lot. So, I don't know. That's just my mental picture on that. But, man, I've been talking about parking lots for so long. And I also have to leave for school in like 15 minutes. So this is cutting it close. But I've never really done this actually, like recorded audio before school, but I can just tell that I'm rambling right now, not even talking about what's on screen. But you guys can let me know in the comments if you enjoy like this sort of commentary and whatnot, because I mean, I'm somewhat enjoying myself right now, just like rambling on and on, so I mean, that's good for me. But yeah, we are not really approaching the end of this video yet. Still another 5 minutes or so. So I'll hang in for a little bit longer, but I might have to cut this audio short so I'm, not running behind for class. But this is pretty much closing in on the end of this factory project. You could just see how large of a section of land this is. You could also see just beyond the neighborhood in the distance, or just before the neighborhood in the distance, as I should say, that there was a large area of empty land. That land is going to get filled in with low residential housing, but you don't see me do it. That was the housing that I said I did off camera. That's also the housing that I went back into game, like on Saturday or Sunday-ish. And like I said at the very beginning of this episode, and I went and redid some stuff, because that housing just looked really bad before. I actually have a post on Reddit that I just made to the City Skylines subreddit showing the before and after. So if you saw that and you're on this video now, that's my Reddit account. But yeah, before and after with the detailing, it looks so much better. You can't even like compare the two. One of them is just really bland, quickly thrown together, basically represents the other low-income housing that I have in the city. And that compared with the new income housing, not new income housing, but the new low-income housing that I set up, it's just no contest. The new one looks so much better, so that's when I gotta go and redo all of the neighborhoods in the entire city, but it's totally gonna be worth it. It's gonna kill the frame rate, because there are lots and lots of props and lots of trees and grasses, but in the end, it's really worth it. If you don't look towards the downtown area, and you don't have the graphics maxed out all the time, which is how I like to play the game. Some people may not like that, but I like to play the game with decent frame rates. And if it means that I play the game with slightly lowered graphics, that they're not maxed out, I think the texture quality is usually set to medium instead of high. I mean, that's good enough for me. It's good enough for me because the game will still look good. I can still see a lot of detail, and well, the game is like really playable because the frames aren't that bad. But when I do turn the graphics up all the way, so long as I'm not like looking towards the downtown area, it runs okay. But since I'm going to be doing construction in the downtown area and just adding even more props and trees to that area, no way I'm going to turn the graphics up for that. Probably also no way that I'm going to record that because, well, I've already talked about this. It's like, it's not even worth recording, so I'm not going to repeat myself. Gosh, this video really is just me rambling a lot. But let's see, 23 minutes in. I'll just stick all the way to the end, I guess. So yeah, just put in some of that mountain grass and whatnot. Lots of grass, lots of dirt decals and whatnot. That area with the warehouses and whatnot, I wasn't sure what to put in there, and turned out pretty well, just putting in some abandoned sort of area. And just then you saw me putting in a, I think it was either ore or oil texture for the Montebello theme. For those of you wondering, that's the theme that I'm using. The map theme is Montebello, but I'm using the Clara LUT, so it really makes the whites shine out and makes everything look brighter. But I've gotten used to it. It looks fairly good. So yeah, actually we are closing in on the ending to this video. Just putting in some miscellaneous pipes and tanks and whatnot in this area because it was just empty grassland and it didn't really look right to have that in there. So yeah, that's what's going on over there. Here we are with the tanks. I also put in a little bit of a storage yard, just quickly thrown together, nothing too special. But yeah, this is the end of the video so far, and of course I have some cinematics, and with the request of a viewer, they told me to go out and get the dynamic resolution mod or whatnot, and I had it turned up to 400. So before that viewer asks, yes, I did use the mod, and if it still doesn't look good, well, I'm not too sure. Maybe you can leave another comment to help me with that. But this is the end of the video. I'd like to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. If you feel like you want to stay caught up with the series, subscribe. I'm not going to force you to subscribe. But yeah, that's all from me. I'll see you in the next video if you choose to show up. Take care.